right, welcome to another episode of CaR Facts here on Tiger Minor Report channel. As joining us this week is soft tossing lefty extraordinaire Jake. Jake, how's it going?
Cool. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
I was trying to think of like a cool
CaR Facts.
Yeah, there's not really like a cool like J to build in there. So CaR Facts is kind of cool. So I'll have to stay in my lane and stay a guest. But thanks for having me on this once. This is kind of cool.
And we're looking at Tarik Skubal's last start against the Twins, who the Twins were averaging 5 runs per their whole entire during the entire homestand, and Skubal did a pretty good job of keeping the Twins off balance a little bit. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about the changeup and the fastball. And Chris, I'll start with you. Was there anything that stood out to you in terms of his picture misses if we watch him here against Josh Donaldson?
No, not really. I it just seemed like he was a little bit more confident throwing the fastball and attacking hitters, and they just seemed like they weren't seeing it as well. It seemed like he had the sort of deception that we were used to in the minors. He seemed like he was throwing with it.
Jake, what about you? As we're watching him watch him at bat here against Nelson Cruz.
Yeah. There were two things that really stuck out. His ability to kind of sequence the fastball, changing speeds, kind of going 93, 94 early in the count, and then to get the strikeouts, he would go 96, 97. So that was pretty exciting to see. And then also working the top of the zone with it. I think he didn't really throw too many high fastballs. I'd have to look at the data on that, but it seemed like he was really effective with the high fastball in the start.
So, Jake, yeah, I mean, he threw his fastball 60% of the time, so you're absolutely right. He did mix it up in there. What I found interesting about his pitches thrown as we look here against Sano here is that he was the mixture of the fastball, in addition, in terms of off-speed stuff, what he was throwing really was just essentially the changeup, which he threw about 18% of the time. He threw a slider 13% of the time and threw a curveball, which the Tiger pitchers are kind of away from the curveball. As now he's watch him here against Brian Buxton, who's just looking completely off balance here, and just put away on 3 pitches. Buxton. Yeah, 96 miles an hour. But no, you're right. The fastball changeup mix was good here, and then against Marwin Gonzalez, getting a lot of pop-ups. You guys noticed that on the inside? I
thought that one was gone when he hit it, unless it's a different one we're talking about.
No, it's Jeffers here. It's against Jeffers. But Jake,
change up right there.
Yeah, there's the fastball trying to elevate the fastball again. And this sequence here gets him on the strike.
Yeah, that was a pitching ninja exclusive right there.
And here's against Polanco. But gentlemen, in terms of his fastball, you saw he's 95, and then that one, the 83 right there, you got just behind it a little bit. Yeah, I thought that was another one. In terms of hard contact, his fastball was averaging about 97, and the hardest hit ball he had was 109.04, which it was a little bit of expected against this lineup. But as we watch him here against Cruz again, Nelson Cruz, every time he went up against Cruz, that was where it was kind of a power on power.
Yeah, back to back high fastballs there, and then goes high again and inside on 0-2. I just liked his ability to kind of
I think, yeah.
The zone. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's nice when you can get Nelson Cruz to swing through a fastball up in the zone. You've got a good fastball, and I mean that was the book on Skubal, and to see it play out in the major leagues now is nice. But I mean he's mixing this up. That was that was the first hit right there, and it was like a foot outside of the zone. So I don't know what you can do about that. He left it up, I guess, but there's nothing. And that was a good piece of hitting by Sano, who just hits the ball crazy hard. Now, a lot of people talked about this decision here. When on first and third, nobody out, how he went for the double play rather than come home. But I was fine with it, and I was actually really impressed with his athleticism on the defensive play. Just really like
throw,
stab it, perfect throw. How many times do you see a guy like flip out and just throw it in the center field? But that's one of the things that I'm most impressed. And here he is, he's just owning Buxton again on 3 pitches. It was a curveball, changeup, fastball. Just good night. But no, like, as I was saying, it's Skubal seems kind of unflappable, which is another good thing to see from a potential frontline starter.
Yeah, and as we close this out, I mean, Jake, I'll ask you in terms of like what we've seen so far with him. In addition to Casey Mize, we saw the next day. They seem like they're at 2 different levels right now in terms of their approaches to batters at the plate.
Yeah. It seems like Skubal's kind of pounding the zone a little bit, and maybe his effectiveness of using the changeup helped the fastball kind of, generate some swings and misses, especially up in the zone. And I don't know, he talked kind of about getting some pointers from Boyd. Did he use Boyd's grip on the change, or was that just a couple of pointers that he got from him? Did you kind of read about that a little bit?
I didn't investigate it fully, but I thought I read that he had basically completely changed his changeup. Just
yeah.
And that's the thing, I think when you're in Double-A and striking out some ungodly number of batters, you don't have to, I'm sure he threw his changeup occasionally, but it wasn't like something that he had to get better. It just you don't need it until you need it, and he needs it in the bigs, and so it's nice to see him be able to try to improve on the fly. It's fun to say you should have developed that in the minors, but if you don't need it,
right. Exactly. Yeah. When you're blowing away everybody with fastballs, it doesn't really matter. But yeah. And the changeup too it's kind of a pitch that you can work the outside part of the plate. That slider, he likes to kind of back foot it to right-handed batters, and it works well when he does that. But when he misses, it gets torched. I always go back to that Tim Anderson home run that he just crushed, tried to back foot it, and it just didn't get all the way where it needed to be. So I think that changeup's going to be key for him, and having that third pitch, to stay in the rotation long term is going to be key for him as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. So check out our next series of CaR Facts. Subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you think. We appreciate your time. Look forward to talking again soon.